Good grief, Charlie Brown. Still managed to win the hearts of many. What's going on, everybody? I'm Joe, and today I'm here to talk about the Peanuts movie. Peanuts movie is the first full-length feature film adaptation of the Peanuts in the last 20 to 30 years since Bon Voyage Charlie Brown and Don't Come Back. And it tells the story of Charlie Brown on an epic quest to win the heart of the little red-haired girl, going through all these different scenarios, trying to make a good impression, but all the while facing failure at every turn that he goes on. And meanwhile, his loyal dog Snoopy goes on an epic adventure against the Red Baron to save his love Fifi from the Red Baron and the rest of the German army. Now, if you can't tell by now, I love the Peanuts. Charlie Brown, Snoopy, very near and dear to my heart. I grew up watching the animated specials like Charlie Brown Christmas, Great Pumpkin, Thanksgiving, and another special that I like, This Is America, Charlie Brown. If you haven't watched this, it's a really, really good series. And another special that I like for Charlie Brown is Why Charlie Brown Why. If you have not seen that, check it out as soon as you can. It's very well done. And also Short Summer Charlie Brown and He's Your Dog and all that kind of stuff. And I've read a little bit of the comic strips too when I was a kid. And I also listened to the main theme by Vince Guaraldi. I love that theme. Da, 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 da. So when they announced that there was going to be a Peanuts movie that was animated, thankfully not live action because that would have been really stupid. At first, I was very skeptical and not really excited or interested in seeing the movie because usually when something like this gets brought into Hollywood, it tends to get really, really muddled down in slapstick toilet humor. For the love of God, do not do that to Charlie Brown. He doesn't need that. And they also have this tendency to put all these pop culture references like booty music with suggestive lyrics, sexual innuendos and all that kind of stuff like Smurfs and the Chipmunks or whatever the heck that was. Just a little side note here, I didn't even see any of those things because I've seen some bad movies, but when I see trailers for Alvin and the Chipmunks or the Smurfs, I just go, no, 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 no. I have standards, okay? I enjoy my life too much to watch that. But then the trailers came out, and my skepticism went down a bit to a bit of, okay. And then the full-length trailer came out, and I went, oh, okay, I think this might be a good one. Although I wasn't really crazy about the whole, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. That took me right out of the trailer, but thankfully, that song's nowhere to be seen in this movie. So as the more trailers and previews came out, I started to warm up to it a lot more, but I was still a little bit skeptical. And I'm very happy to report that the Peanuts movie is a really, really good time that I definitely suggest you watch. If you're a Peanuts fan, you will like this one. First of all, the animation, it's very, very nicely done. It has a very in-depth 3D look to it, but also at the same time maintains that classic look of the Peanuts, like the comic strips, the animated specials. It has a very nice stop-motion effect to it too, similar to the animated specials, particularly from the 60s and 70s. As far as the music goes, that was another concern I had. I was afraid that they were going to use pop music, and they do use a pop song, but I'll get to that in a minute. But pop music where it has a very sexual tone to it as far as the lyrics go, thank God, none of that was anywhere to be heard in this movie. Now, the pop song that was used is sung by Meghan Trainor. I think that's her name. The name of the song is Better When I'm Dancing. And I listened to the song, and you know what? It's a harmless pop song and has a very simple message to it, which fits very well with this movie. Now, before I get into the story, I also want to point out that they do use some of Vince Guaraldi's themes, like the skating theme from Charlie Brown Christmas. The Christmas Time Is Here song, and of course the Linus and Lucy theme. Every time those themes came on, and even some that was created by Christopher Beck, which is a more orchestral score than a jazz combo, whenever I hear those themes, it brought me back to being a little kid, watching Charlie Brown, reading the comic strips, and just loving the Peanuts. Made me feel right at home. Now, as far as the story goes, those of you who aren't Peanuts fans, Charlie Brown doesn't have the best luck in the world. He struggles to be liked by his peers and accepted by his peers. He's often ignored, rebuffed, or bullied by most of his classmates. So basically, in a lot of ways, he's like Peter Parker. And he just wants reassurances that people do like him. And he does have friends. Linus may occasionally admonish Charlie Brown, but he always stands by his side. He's got Snoopy, his loyal dog, who still is as funny and charming as he can be. And Bill Melendez, who unfortunately has passed away about a few years ago. They used some of his voicing effects for for Snoopy and Woodstock, it's done very well, and it still made me laugh. But then you got other characters like Lucy, Charlie Brown's sister Sally, then Schroeder, then Franklin, then Marcy, Peppermint Patty. All of them get their moments to shine in one way or another, whether or not they have a huge part in the movie. And the kids who voice these characters, they all sound exactly what their character should sound like. Major props to them. The humor is another thing that I was concerned about, that there would be too much slapstick or toilet humor, which, thank God, there was no toilet humor in this movie. I mean, you probably see that a lot in others like Smurfs or Alvin and the Chipmunks or whatever kids stuff they adapt into live action or animation. It can really, really feel insulting. And there are some slapstick moments in here, but to me, while it may at one point get a little too much, it doesn't feel forced. It feels like they found the right amount of beats, except for maybe 1 or 2 times. And it still has that classic charming kind of humor that the Peanuts are known for. Simple stuff like, "You blockhead Charlie Brown. Ugh, I've been kissed by a dog." Whenever Snoopy gave Lucy a kiss, oh god, it was priceless. This is the kind of humor that not only kids I think would like, but also adults like myself, grew up with the Peanuts. They can get into that too, and the same thing with the story. And speaking of that, it's a very simple premise, I would say. It's not really ambitious. It doesn't try to go on this crazy adventure where you have all these crazy villains and they do all this weird stuff along the way. The movie has a very good sense of control on itself. It keeps it simple, but it also has a pretty touching message to it. It doesn't matter what awards you get for this, that, and the other thing. How good you are at a talent show, how good you are at dancing. As long as you're a good person at heart, it shouldn't matter how great you are at certain things. And that's somebody that everybody can relate to. Charlie Brown doesn't have the greatest luck in the world, and he feels like nothing can go right for him. And let's face it, we've all been there at one point in our lives. I myself can connect with Charlie Brown in a lot of ways. I've been there plenty of times in my life where I feel like nothing goes right for me, and I just want to give it all up and leave town. And if I have any negatives with this movie, like I said, maybe once or twice the slapstick becomes a little too much, and the premise, again, is not really entirely original or ambitious as it probably should be, but it does what it needs to do. It gives a very simple, but very effective and touching message that's very true to the core of what Charlie Brown and the Peanuts are all about. And you know what? In this day and age where there's a lot of animated movies that I guess tend to be very bombastic and crude in a lot of ways, and given that Charles Schultz's son Craig and his grandson were also involved in the making of this movie, I think it's safe to say that this movie was in good hands right from the start. Props to the filmmakers for making this kind of movie. Well done. And thank you, Hollywood, for not ruining Charlie Brown and the Peanuts. Thank the Lord. Sorry, had to do that. So what did you guys think of the Peanuts movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Let me know what you thought down below. Stay tuned for a review of Spectre that'll be coming up very soon. And maybe I'll do a little special for Veterans Day coming up. You never know. Until then, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you next time.